Starting 2019 off with a bang, people. Fire in the hole! So as chairman, I couldn't be more excited to have had the opportunity to be here to witness another successful conclusion to the efforts that we put together at the district to move progress forward. Progress for restoration, flood control, and water quality. And I am absolutely certain that as we wrap the year up on a high note, we're going to take that momentum and we're going to carry it forward, and we're going to have a lot more success to be celebrating in 2019. I want to thank staff, I want to thank all of our leadership in government, and I want to thank our stakeholders for having faith in the good work performed by the people at the district and throughout our 16 counties. And there you have it, a major first step in the direction that we've all been asking for, sending water south. It's critical to our mission. It's critical to our mission because it's absolutely necessary to provide our natural environment with clean, healthy water. And this structure here that will be built in very short order will be a core component of providing our Everglades with that water. In fact, once it's fully operational, it'll nearly double the capacity that our team has to move water south. In August of 2018, our governing board approved a resolution to expedite the construction you see here today in response to the direction provided by Governor Scott, who has been integral in obtaining funding to allow for this construction. So the C43 North structure that we are here to build is part of a larger scheme of projects known as the Central Everglades Planning Projects, a series of projects to be built on state-owned land that help move that good, high-quality water south through our natural system to help both our urban environments, the natural system, and further south, Florida Bay. I want to thank all of our stakeholders and all of our legislators and Governor Scott for the support they've lent us to expedite projects at every possible turn that assist with restoring our Everglades and providing very necessary flood control for our communities.
When I come out with my family, we usually go around the pathway there and, just to observe the birds and the alligators. When our kids were little, we spent a lot of enjoyable mornings out here doing that. We're here this morning at the national treasure known as the Arthur R. Marshall Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge, which is owned by the South Florida Water Management District. This national treasure was in jeopardy of being destroyed by the exotics here, not the least of which is the Lygodium, also known as the Old World Climbing Fern, which comes in and covers the tree islands, which are a biodiversity necessity to the existence of the ecosystem. I'm proud of the fact that our board intervened in this last year. We have more authority now to come in and solve this problem. It's a win-win situation. It's a win for our federal partners at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It's a win for the district, and most importantly, it's a win for the environment. You know, it's 144,000 acres that need to be protected as part of our heritage, as part of the environment that we use to protect the flora and fauna here and to provide for drinking water indirectly for South Florida.
here we are at Lakeside Ranch Stormwater Treatment Area on the northeast side of Lake Okeechobee. This 2,700 acre project was constructed in 2 phases. The first was completed in 2012, and the second phase of that 2,700 acre project was completed this year in 2018. Was such a critical time to be completed because the last 3 years we've had record rainfall in the basin. And we know that Taylor Creek and Nubbin Slough, this basin is one of the most impaired basins for phosphorus and nitrogen that we have throughout the entire district. Well, stormwater treatment area is a kidney, is the way I see it. And when the water comes in here, this natural vegetation that's in here, it strips that phosphorus and nitrogen out. It's a natural process, is the way it's supposed to occur, stripping out that phosphorus and nitrogen before it's released back out into the system. As soon as this project was completed here this year, right before the wet season, the board decided that we needed to get this into operation immediately to deal with these high water issues that we had in the month of May. May was the wettest May on record that we've ever had. And so we knew that we had to take action to get this project online, immediately putting in temporary pumps to bring water right out of Lake Okeechobee, treat that water, and then get it back into the system as clean as possible. It is so important to the St. Lucie estuary, to the Indian River Lagoon, the citizens of Martin County, everybody that's on the St. Lucie estuary, to make sure that that water is clean as possible, lowering those phosphorus and nitrogen loads so we can reduce those harmful algal blooms that we've been seeing over the last couple of years.
The enormity of this site is difficult to comprehend unless you're actually out here or flying above it and can see it from the air. The projects we do at the South Florida Water Management District aren't small by any means. We're here at the L8, as it's known, and it was a former rock mine with a special feature. Its rock is so dense that it prevents large amounts of water from seeping in or out. This unique geology makes it a naturally perfect site for a water storage reservoir. Storage is critical to the Everglades system as a whole, but it is also central to the effective operation of an STA, because wetlands work best when there's a steady flow of water.
Being a resident in Broward County, this water supply system is critically important to this ecosystem. And being a father of 3 children, I want to do my part to ensure that this ecosystem is sustainable and thriving and is there for my children to enjoy. It's a beautiful day here in Broward County. I'm standing here on Griffin Road at one of our control structures, the S13AW. As you can see behind me is one of the canals that feeds our water supply, critical for this county. We couldn't live here without this structure. These canals are so critical to feeding water to our utilities, which then in turn give it to our businesses and residents here along Broward County. And it's the South Florida Water Management District that's in charge of controlling and making sure that we have enough water to the aquifers. So living in Broward County, we are so close to the coast. And one of the big items that we're working up against is saltwater intrusion into our aquifers. And these canals and control structures are our line of defense to ensure that saltwater doesn't make it into our drinking water, which in turn is being supplied to our residents and businesses here in South Florida. As you can see in the beautiful landscape behind me, these canals and control structures are not only feeding fresh water to the residents and commercial properties here in Broward County, but also sustaining the wildlife that you see behind me. It's critically important to move this water so that we can continue to feed fresh water to the Everglades. The Lower East Coast is one of the fastest growing populations here in South Florida. We're currently at about 6 million residents, expected to grow to about 7.5 by 2040. Most recently, the board just received the water supply plan, which is ensuring that we have enough water supply to sustain for the current population as well as the future. Planning ahead and wisely investing public funds ensures that our businesses, environment, and residents all have enough water supply for the future.
I hope you can appreciate the view that I'm seeing right here, because what I'm looking at behind me is the future of restoration for the Loxahatchee River and the Loxahatchee Estuary. So I'm out here in a little town called Fort Denard, which is just east of LaBelle here in Hendry County. And what I'm looking at is the future C43 Reservoir, an incredible project that will encompass over 10,000 acres that will give us an incredible tool in the restoration toolkit. We'll be able to control how much water is going and when those flows are going into the Loxahatchee River. So we're out here to check on the progress that the district has made on the C43 Reservoir. And what I'm standing on is one of the pyramids, and we've completed these pyramids that are compressing the clay layer soil beneath them so that we will be able to build the walls of the reservoir. We have also gone into what will at some point be the heart of the reservoir, and we have removed all of the structures that were in there, all of the barns, and we've also removed all of the trees that were once a citrus grove here, so that eventually we'll be able to fill this reservoir up with water. What's even more exciting is that early next year, we will be awarding a contract to a contractor that will eventually come in here and build the walls that are going to surround this reservoir. All right, so here we are at the S476 pump station. We were here about a year ago and this thing just looked like a big hole in the ground. So you can see there's been an immense amount of progress done on this pump station. It's really just about 90% done. We're just working on the finishing touches here, and a lot of care and construction has gone into this. What you'll see here, this pump station will allow us to draw water out of the canal and make sure that our permitted users and our neighbors have enough water to run their operations once the C43 reservoir is complete. So as massive as this project is, 170,000 acre feet of storage, over 10,000 acres of land, it can hardly express how important this project is to the residents of Southwest Florida, the businesses, and the families that like to enjoy that estuary. It is a piece of restoration that is immeasurable to the people in Southwest Florida.
So how's the fishing, Ross?
It's great.
Boy, it sure is beautiful out here. It's so easy to forget that places like this still exist in Florida, and they almost didn't. The Kissimmee River used to meander for over 100 miles through Central Florida down to South Florida. It had a floodplain that was 3 miles wide, and during the wet season it would be inundated with water. But in 1947, after devastating flooding in the state of Florida, the U.S. government authorized the Army Corps of Engineers to straighten, deepen, and widen the Kissimmee River. It provided great flood control, but it wreaked havoc on the ecosystem. We've been trying to put the river back together ever since. The Kissimmee River Restoration Project is a 50-50 partnership between the state of Florida, South Florida Water Management District, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It will restore the flow of over 40 miles of the river and about 25,000 acres of floodplain. Already we've seen an incredible resurgence in wildlife, plants, and the flow of the river. As a former chairman of the governing board and a current member, I'm extremely proud of all the hard work that we've done for this restoration project. This is a legacy that will survive for generations of Florida families.
There's no place else like this in the world. It is beautiful. We are in a 1,000 square miles bay in the Everglades National Park. It is the southernmost portion of America's Everglades ecosystem and one of the largest seagrass meadows in the world. The first drought that I can remember was 1987. It devastated Florida Bay. In 2015, we had a drought that limited the amount of fresh water through Taylor Slough into Florida Bay, and it devastated our seagrass. the lifeblood of the ecosystem. In 2016, the South Florida Water Management District Governing Board approved a bold plan to help restore Florida Bay. Today, I'm proud to say, with structures all around us in western Miami-Dade County, the initiative has delivered more than 68,000 acre-feet of additional clean, fresh water into this bay that's so precious to all of us.
And those are all sampling points?
Dissolved oxygen, conductivity, and temperature, as well as salinity.
Pull it taut. Get the marker where the water level was.
Here, and then we collect from here.
Just this year, in 2018, South Florida Water Management District installed 2 additional pumps expected to increase the amount of fresh water flowing to Florida Bay via Taylor Slough by up to 10,000 more acre-feet, for a total of 44,000 acre-feet per year. The bay's alive, but we need to do everything we can for future generations to keep this bay alive. You know, as I'm speaking to you, it has given me chills all over thinking about my 5 grandkids coming out here with Grandpa someday and catching these same fish that I've been able to enjoy my whole life.
Bill? Rick Farber.
Yeah, from Wade Houston.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks for what you do.
Yeah, Bill's out here a couple times a week.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And we've walked out to the lakes area over there where the eagles are.
We're going to get that opened up too.
Yeah.
Maybe have a fishing pier and a pavilion there. So.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. The Corkscrew Regional Ecosystem, known as CREW, is a 60,000 acre watershed that spans Lee and Collier counties and has a 5,000 acre marsh at its headwaters and the Audubon Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary in the middle of it. We're out here at the Billy G. Cobb Trail that's just been opened up in the Southern CREW. As you can see, this is a beautiful place. We've got pine flatwoods, marsh systems, areas that are very beautiful to be in. In 2018, this project was completed. This is a restoration project that took out roads and canals and ditches and dikes and that sort of thing so that the land could go back to natural conditions. The water resources component of this project is really storage of floodwaters, waters that discharge from the Corkscrew Swamp. The wildlife you might see here are deer, raccoons, bobcats, even an occasional panther might wander through here.
Delay's not an option. So I'm standing here today on the district's A2 parcel, celebrating what is a major first step in the construction of a very important feature to the district's water management and restoration system. And I'm speaking about the B10 Reservoir. As you can see, we've already begun to turn dirt. And our message to all of our stakeholders and to all of the legislators that worked so very hard and so very diligently to pass this very important law is we are going to do everything in our power to expedite construction of this reservoir. This is a prime example of the district's commitment to expediting all of the opportunities to build projects with our federal partners. The reservoir that is going to be constructed here, it's going to allow us to store water, thereby relieving the estuaries of a lot of the stresses caused by excess water, because we really want to maximize the benefit of this project for the environment and for our communities. When our legislature and our stakeholders got together and decided to build this reservoir, it provided us with a clear mandate. Clear mandates put us in a position to win, in a position to build successful projects such as this reservoir. All this success wouldn't be possible without the efforts of our staff. I want to thank you folks first and foremost for making this a reality for us. We are an agency that prides itself on problem solving, and you folks are our greatest resource. I look forward to supporting you in all your endeavors and all your contributions to the district and to the work that we perform. And I couldn't be happier with how we're wrapping up the year, and I'm extremely excited to take that momentum into 2019, which I know will be an opportunity for all of us to celebrate successes together. Thank you.